Hello, everyone. This is John Victor Hall's talk show number 13 for students of English. I am John Victor Hall, an online English teacher here. I'm originally from Canada, but I've been based for many years now in Costa Rica. And the panelists today, Jose Chavez and Marta Saborio, are both students of mine. Marta's camera just failed a few minutes ago, so we're going to do the show without her camera, but we can hear her. Right, Marta? You're there, right?
Yeah, there I
You
am
are
here.
good. Okay. And first, I'll introduce the guest today, Monse Leon. She is coming to us from the state of Minnesota in the United States today. How is the weather there today, Monse?
Well, hi. It is getting cold because we're
Yeah.
like winter is coming.
Uh-huh.
So like the temperature has dropped significantly, and
Hmm.
we're expecting snow probably tomorrow or
Oh, yeah.
Monday.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it is
Hmm.
time.
Are you up near the border with Canada?
Yeah, I mean, so I live in like northern Minneapolis. My
Oh,
city
okay.
is called Blaine. It's not
Okay.
as close as the border. Probably it's like say 3 hours or something like that. But
Okay. Uh-huh.
there's some places here in Minnesota that are actually um colder or northern than Canada, right? Like for example, I believe Toronto is like here, and then
Yeah.
there are some cities in Minnesota that are like northern. So
I believe that Toronto is actually further south. I mean,
further south, right?
it's way over to the east of you,
Uh-huh,
but
uh-huh,
it's
uh-huh.
actually at a more southern latitude than you are, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you get that cold Canadian Arctic air that comes down in the winter and freezes things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The only other place in the United States that's colder than where you are is Alaska.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, please, Monse, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, nice to meet you too. My name is Montserrat. I'm from Heredia, Costa Rica, and I've been working Boston Scientific for the last 9 years and a half. It's going to be 10 years soon. And I just moved to Minnesota almost 8 months ago. Um, this is where my company is, and yeah, looking forward to have a conversation with you, share my experiences, and
Hmm.
yeah, happy to be here.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And let me see. Let's go to Jose. Jose Chavez is how you have your name written today. Can you briefly introduce yourself? You've been on the show before, but
Sure.
introduce yourself for those who have not seen you before.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Paulo Chavez. I am electromechanical engineer, and I work in a medical devices industry, like
Ah,
like
okay.
Monse. So, yeah, I am very interesting about this conversation, and yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
nice to meet you.
Okay, same industry, although completely different parts of the industry
Yeah,
because Monse is in development and training, I believe, right?
Yeah, I work in the training and development side of things in operations and manufacturing, but this
Hmm.
is where I'm focused, yeah, in manufacturing. Hmm.
Right.
Monse, let me ask you something. But you
Yeah.
work in a quality system area, or is other one?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
are the quality. Okay, excellent.
Okay.
I'm part of the quality system, yeah.
Okay, I'm in the
Okay.
maintenance systems.
In the what, sorry?
Maintenance,
Oh, cool.
Maintenance.
maintenance,
Hmm.
maintenance department. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Like the equipment maintenance and stuff? Or
I am the maintenance engineer. So I see all the group. I lead their facilities
oh, cool.
and operations. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Sorry to interrupt here, but we haven't had a chance. We haven't given a chance for Martha to introduce herself here. We can't see her, but she is there. So, Martha, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Marta Saborio. I live in Coronado. Um, I'm an external auditor, so it means that I audit the financial statements of the companies. I have worked for almost 20 years in the same company,
Hmm.
and nice to meet you. And I'm happy to be here with you.
Hmm. Yeah. Now you
Thanks,
work for a
Martha.
company, I believe that where in which you do contracts with other companies. Is that right, Martha?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So I don't
are.
know if.
Yes, I
Mm,
work in one of the big four global audit firm.
hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, our clients, we
Hmm.
subscribed a contract with them in
Hmm.
order to review their financial statements and to issue
Hmm.
an opinion. And tho- those reports are used for banks or tax authorities or
Hmm.
for the shareholders meeting. Yeah.
Have you worked? Have you done contracts with biopharmaceutical or medical device companies in Costa Rica?
Yes, all types of companies. For example, the financial area, banks,
Hmm.
um, the financial services, and the
Hmm.
other all type of industries,
Hmm.
pharmaceuticals, industrial companies,
Okay.
agriculture, yeah, commercials, um,
Okay.
companies.
Mhm. Good. Okay. So both of you, both panelists today, have some type of connection with the industry that Monse's company is in. So, well, okay. Let me see. I'm just going to give a brief overview of what I know about you, Monse, and then I will let you fill in the details about it. Okay. What I know about you is that you were born in Costa Rica, grew up here, learned English, got a job working for a medical device company. I don't know if we can actually say the name or whether that's a problem or not, but
I think we can keep
um,
it that way. Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess you did quite well with them, and they gave you opportunities to work in other countries. If I am correct, you first went to live and work in Brazil, then later it was Israel, and now you're in the United States in the state of Minnesota, right?
Correct.
Aha, good. Yeah. Okay. I think we have a little bit of a delay sometimes because of the fact that you're in the US and we're here in Costa Rica, but yeah, we have to live with that. Let's start with your English language journey. How did you start learning English and how did you get it to a level where you were able to speak very fluently and get a job with sorry, with your company? Yeah, sorry,
That's
almost said the name.
that's that's okay. So I started learning English when I was in elementary school.
Hmm.
I was really fortunate that my parents made like a huge sacrifice to have
Hmm.
me and my siblings going into a bilingual school.
Hmm.
I would say that the English level was good,
Hmm.
but compared to, for example, my other couple siblings, something that I was doing while growing up was like kind of practicing more, watching
Hmm.
movies with English subtitles. I was always listening to music in English, so that kind of helped me develop, like my ear and my
Hmm.
brain
Hmm.
to have like more vocabulary. And when I finished high school, I started in college in El Tecnológico. in
Mm-hmm.
Cartago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the time where I stopped using my English completely because
Mm-hmm.
like in college,
Oh,
you will never need English, right? I remember
right,
that
right.
I have like one or two courses, but it was like super, I don't want to say basic, but they were super
Mm-hmm.
short, right? So I
Right, right.
couldn't like practice my English anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then,
I just want to say that's a great university, but
yeah,
it's not a bilingual one.
yeah. And also, I would say that when I went to college, we
Mhm.
weren't asked to go like through English articles or those kind of
Uh,
things that will help
no,
you.
no
Like
research in English. Yeah.
no, like I would do research in English, but that was like me because I was like
Right.
interested in keeping my English because I
Mm-hmm.
know that you needed to practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then but I kept doing like the stuff that I was doing while growing up,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
movies, TV shows, music.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
then
good. Yeah.
in my last year of college, I applied for an internship
Mm-hmm.
in my company. And actually, I remember that the interview, it
Mm-hmm.
was like the first interview was in like a call, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Hey, will you mind if I switch to English?" And I remember that I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Um,
You
so
were
I
out
was
of
like,
practice, right?
yeah, completely. And I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like ready or prepared or anything like that. Also, I
Okay.
wasn't even expecting the call. Um,
Oh.
so then I was like, sure. So then she asked me like, I don't know, like I don't even remember the question, but it was like nothing like professional or like nothing technical. It was like more, oh, what do you like to do in your free time or something
Oh,
like
okay,
that?
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was like super lucky that that was the question because I was like,
Right.
wait a minute, right? So, and then I got a because like the interview of
Mm-hmm.
that internship, we were like a lot of college students going into this open house in the company. So they were
Mm-hmm.
asking us like doing some like activities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like the English teacher, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
from the company
Oh, really?
that she called me and said like,
Oh,
hey,
oh, okay.
as part of the interview, um, you
Mm-hmm.
need to
Mm-hmm.
be interviewed in English. So I remember going back home and starting like looking for YouTube videos and tips and
Right, right.
stuff, right?
Mhm.
Like what would be like the questions, like the typical questions for an intern, right? Because I wasn't like
Mhm.
graduated or something like that. So I knew that
Mhm, mhm.
questions wouldn't be like 100% like super technical. So I went
Right.
there and did like a lot of research, like what are those typical questions? And that helped me like develop that confidence that I needed
Mhm,
for that
mhm, mhm.
interview. Mhm.
Yeah, it was too bad you didn't know me back then because I do training for
Yeah.
job interviews in English. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, John.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But okay, so you did the interview in English, I guess, and it was good enough, was it?
Yeah, so I did the interview and I remember that I was asked to choose if I wanted to work in the quality department or in the
Hmm.
training and development department. And well, my background is I'm an industrial engineer. So
Okay.
I thought that I was going to be working as like a probably like a quality engineer or a manufacturing engineer, right?
Hmm.
So when the hiring manager, the training hiring manager, he explained the position and like he made it sound like super interesting and different that what
Hmm.
I was expecting to work, let's say. I was like,
Hmm.
wait, let me just give it a chance and see what's training, right? Because I was like, is this something like related with human resources? Because I was
Hmm.
more like interested in the engineering side of things, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But it was like working in actual manufacturing with our product builders.
Hmm.
um, so I was easily convinced to work in the training space, and I've
Training.
been in the training and development space for
Hmm.
manufacturing and operations,
Hmm.
and I've been working in training since.
I
So
see. I see.
the interesting thing is like our companies are like an American company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though our procedures are in Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
like our governance, standard operation procedures, they're in English. So I was
Mm-hmm.
forced to start like reading again in English.
Oh.
Our leadership was from the US. We have
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing sites all over the globe. We have in
Mm-hmm.
Ireland, we have in here in the US, Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
Penang, all over. So there were
Mm-hmm.
certain calls that you had people from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really blessed that my manager by that time, there's this monthly call from all like the training managers, right? From all
Mm-hmm.
the network. And
Mm-hmm.
I was really blessed because of I could communicate in English to kind of being his backup in some of these
Mm-hmm.
meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where again at the beginning I was like super nervous, but then because he was like just like listening,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need to like present something. So the fact that I started like listening and understand, I was like, okay, okay. So this is what they're talking about. And I'd say like working in like a regulated company with
Mm-hmm.
everything that is like already like I said regulated and in
Mm-hmm.
English makes it easier for you to understand, like
Mm-hmm.
certain words that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can't translate them to Spanish. Like there's some
Mm-hmm.
certain words like in our technical vocabulary that even people that don't know how to speak English, they will know how to translate to Spanish, which that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in some ways help you to, to make a bigger effort to learn English.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can move a little bit, like if I can do like fast forward, like for some other years, my manager was asked to go to Brazil back then
Mm-hmm.
um, for an acquisition project. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I was learning Portuguese by that time because I really
Okay.
like Portuguese. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
first my first level, like super entry level.
Right.
But the people that weren't from Brazil, they needed to communicate through English.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, you know what? My manager back then, he was about to become a father, so he couldn't
Oh.
travel. And
Oh.
that's when he said, okay, so let me find someone that not only can speak or try to speak Portuguese, but can also explain English because like all the report out and like all
Right.
presentations were from our like global leadership that is from the US, most of them.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So this is how I got my um like a temporary assignment, like short-term
Mm-hmm.
assignment to
Mm-hmm.
Brazil.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so even though Portuguese, you'll think, oh, it's kind of similar than Spanish, it was
Mm-hmm.
actually English, the one that allowed me to communicate also with the Brazilian folks, because that was like
Really? Oh.
the yeah, that was like the language that most of us could communicate.
Right.
So
So a lot of people there in the company in Brazil could actually communicate in English.
yeah, because like they were being like acquired by our company, right? So
Uh-huh.
every time that we acquire a company, there's a group of experts of different
Right. Mm-hmm.
different work streams, different areas, let's say, that we
Uh-huh.
will come to the acquired company and we'll adapt it, right? So most of us, we like the commonality will say like we could all speak in English, but we
Right.
there were some that we could speak Spanish, some that could speak Portuguese, but like
Right.
English was like the main communication, like main language.
Right. Right. Uh-huh. I see. I see. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So you probably didn't have any problem speaking with English speakers, but the Portuguese office talk around you, that was probably the more difficult thing for you to understand, right?
Yeah, so multiple things. That's when I started like working, because like the Brazilians had like this different accent, like
Hmm.
really beautiful accent, but sometimes
Right.
you couldn't
Hmm.
understand words. Or like for example, in Portuguese, if you have a word that ends with like a K or like a consonant, they
Hmm.
will add like an I at the end. For example,
Okay.
they will say, the way we say Facebook, right? They will say
Hmm.
Facebooky, right?
Okay.
So those words that ends with like with a consonant, they will
Hmm.
add an I. So sometimes you were like in a conversation, you were trying to figure it out. What's that word, right? Like how would you spell that word?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and also I started working with people from Ireland as well.
Oh, okay.
And then they were talking, and I remember like trying to understand, because they were using completely different words in English.
Yes.
Their
Hmm.
accent was really strong for me, and I
Hmm.
had never had the opportunity before to speak to a Irish person before.
Right. Right.
And
Yes.
then they were like using words that was like, oh my God. And I remember like hearing or trying to listen to their words or like reading their mouth, right? Like, oh my God,
Hmm.
what am I doing here? I'm not able to work here because there's no way we can
Hmm.
communicate with each other, right? Or sometimes they will use words like, oh, let's go to the canteen.
Uh-huh.
Canteen. What
But
is the
sorry,
canteen?
that's the Irish people that would say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
being there, so I was like, canteen. What's the canteen? If I think about a canteen, I think about a canteen in Costa Rica, right?
Right, right. Okay.
And that was
Yeah.
like 9 a.m. So I was like, something's off here, right? Still,
They're going to
if
they're
yeah,
going to drink guaro at 9 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, I'm like, okay. But that's how they will call the cafeteria, or right.
Right, right. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. So
and
canteen, yeah, you're right about that. Canteen has different meanings in different countries in in the world, including in
yeah,
English speaking countries.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, and some a funny thing is that being in Brazil, I also prioritize my Portuguese, right?
Hmm.
Um, but the global manager, let's say, by that time, so when I experienced that this assignment, I told to myself I would like this to become my full-time job, not like a
Hmm.
temporary assignment.
Hmm.
So I knew that I needed to have a conversation and get to know like our global manager, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the person that will always have the decision who to send to the different countries, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, I wasn't confident at all with my English by that time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what I did is I scheduled a one-on-one session with her.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember that I wrote like a script in Word.
Hmm.
So I
Yep.
was like, "Hi, my name is Monse." Right, like I like helping me with Google Translate and stuff. So I did
Oh
like
yeah,
this
yeah. Hmm.
script, right, because I wanted to write down all my ideas. And by that time, we didn't like virtual meetings weren't a thing, because that
Oh,
was
okay,
before
okay.
COVID, right? Like you have
Right,
calls,
right.
but now, like I don't know you and you guys in your job, but at least for us at the beginning, like years ago, not everyone was using their camera, right? Right now,
Hmm.
if like I have a global role right now, so I
Hmm.
need to talk with people all over. So I will answer my calls with my camera, right? Like 'cause
Hmm.
it this, right? It's not just the
Hmm.
audio.
Hmm.
So I remember that we started the call and she had her camera on, and I was like, oh, does this mean that I need to put my camera on as well? Because I know
Hmm.
that it sounds like basic and obvious, but I was like, wait a minute, I need to read my script, right? Because I
Hmm.
wasn't feeling comfortable, or I was like super
Oh,
intimidated, right? Because this was going
right.
to be like some sort of interview, but not like an actual interview. But that was like my moment to say how much I worked and how much I enjoyed this experience.
Yeah.
So when she turned on her camera, I was like, I know. So I remember like my legs were, I even was sitting down, but my legs were shaking. I was like sweating.
Yeah.
And I was, because I wanted to read the script, but the way like you
Uh-huh.
have the camera, I couldn't go like, "Hi, my name is Monse," and
Because yeah,
I
yeah, you
am
don't want to you don't want to be like this.
right,
Hello, I am
exactly. And I was
here.
so
Yeah.
ready to do that. I was practicing with
Uh-huh.
my script, and then I remember that I said that I told to myself, you know what, she, because I one of my favorite writers, her name is Brene Brown. I highly recommend.
Okay.
She has great books, and she
Uh-huh.
has also like kind of like her main thing is having conversations or like talk shows,
Hmm.
and like the main thing is like she will tell you these are all people, like they are all people like you, right? Because for at least for me it was easy to be intimidated by people that
Hmm.
weren't Costa Rican, or people that were like English speakers or had like
Hmm.
higher roles in
Right.
than
Right.
me. I was easily intimidated. But then
Hmm.
I said that day, you know what, like she is just a person.
She's just a person,
She is just exactly like me.
right?
She probably went through exactly the same conversation with his manager, or excuse me, her manager now.
Yeah.
She knows that I'm from Costa Rica. I
Right.
don't, if this is the person that will help me in my career,
Uh-huh.
this person will understand
Right.
that English is not my first language.
Right.
So I kind of like, like I kind of let go like that pressure that was like paralyzing, because at some point in other meetings could be like frozen. I'll be like frozen 100%,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I wanted to say so much. I wanted to do, but it was like this, um, like I was just paralyzed because and the only reason why I was getting like that is because I didn't know how to say one word. So because I forgot to say one word of the
Oh.
whole sentence that I was thinking in my mind in English,
Uh-huh.
I completely froze, right?
Oh
Instead
yeah.
of
Yeah.
being just like patient with me and trying, like just try, right? So at the
Hmm.
beginning, I didn't even make a try.
Hmm.
So I
So
talked to her.
just a second. I would say if I put myself in your position, I would say that you had two choices. One was to come out and be honest and say, I have a script here, and I thought I was going to be able to read the script,
Mhm,
and I would like to do that.
mhm.
You could ask her if it was okay to do that, or you could just maybe come out and try to improvise it, and just admit
Mhm.
that you're nervous because
Yeah.
just
And
admit you're
that's,
nervous to begin with.
yeah, and that's actually, and I wanted to get there, John. Thank you for highlighting this, because I'll
Uh-huh.
say that, because if I do like a spoiler right now, she's my manager now. I love her to death. She's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I think that what helped me having this full-time position, having this that I have right now, like a global role,
Hmm.
was being humble enough. So that
Humble.
day, and I said like,
Right.
"Look, Denise, I'm super excited to be here. I'm so nervous. I have
That's what you
I
did.
have actually a lot of talking points, because
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
these
Uh-huh.
were, because I had like, I wanted to share with you my accomplishments in this project. But if
Right.
I just do it like this way, I might forget stuff. So if you
Uh-huh.
see
Uh-huh.
me
Okay.
going into my notes, is that I just don't want to forget. I just don't want to lose the opportunity to say,
Good.
like
Yes.
going through these accomplishments just because I'm nervous. Like this is my first time in a informal, because it wasn't like an interview. I was just showing my interest. But the way, and I learned this from another manager that I had, that he's from
Mhm.
Morocco, that he said, Monse, every day is an interview. So you need to
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
choose your words wisely, right? Because you will
Right, right,
never know
right.
who you're going to meet,
Uh-huh.
and that person will help you. open like different opportunities. So I'd say
Right.
that that helped me. And I said,
Uh-huh.
look, English is not my first language. I'm
Right.
trying my best.
Aha.
And so that was in when I worked in Brazil. And then in Brazil, I met a couple project managers that they were from the
Mhm.
US
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
And they were really interested in what I was doing, right? Because there
Mhm.
were a lot of projects like that happening at the same time. There were one in California by that time,
Mhm. Mhm.
in other places, in other countries,
Mhm.
and I was kind of explaining to them what is that
Mhm.
what I do and stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this is how I developed that relationship
Mhm. Mhm.
um, with this other person, with this other project manager, and I like I said, I think I have like a before and after in my career when I just
Mhm. Mhm.
relax and I
Right.
said,
Right.
you know
Yes.
what, I'm not going to be stressed because till
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
day, and I've been doing this like for almost 10 years now. Till this day, I have meetings every day in English, and I would say like every couple days while in meetings, I'm like, wait a minute, how do you say this word in English?
Mhm.
I'm sorry,
Mhm.
I don't know. Let me look for this word in English. Till this day,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. 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 Do
Um,
that. Do that. Admit that you don't know the word.
yeah. Or sometimes I'm like,
Don't be afraid to say that.
yeah. Or even like you'll say like, oh yeah, she has like 10 years working in this
Uh-huh.
environment, so she knows what she's
Uh-huh.
doing. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
do know what I'm doing, but sometimes I always make this joke that I always say like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I left my communication skills at home." Like sometimes I don't know what's happening, but
They're not
sometimes
here
like
today. What happened?
I,
Yeah.
I I don't even know how to say, "Hey, good morning. How's everyone doing?" Okay, let's kick off. And
Yeah. Yeah.
stop. Like I'm an expert in what I'm doing, right? But then
Right. Right.
sometimes I just leave my communication skills at home. So I just
Well,
need to
sometimes you
take
have a bad day, right?
right. So as
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, you know what? Let me just take five minutes break,
Make a joke
right?
about it.
Yeah, and that's like learning to like to make fun of me in a good way, not in a
Yeah.
bad way, right? Because it's not like, oh, I should have done this better. Oh, I suck at English.
I'm
Oh,
not competent. I
I'm
shouldn't
not.
be here.
Yeah, because that was like the speech before that
Right. Right.
that made me not, like see like clearly. But when I
Mhm.
kind of changed my mindset into a, you know what,
Mhm.
to be able to show up to work every day with a
Mhm.
different language, trying
Mhm.
to do my best, that's something that I take really proud, in
Yeah.
myself because it's not easy, right? And I'd
Right.
say
Right.
well, now that I moved here, I see challenges every single day
Uh huh.
because
You do. Yeah.
um like you never stop learning, right? Like you
Exactly.
never stop learning.
Exactly. Yeah. I just want to say something here. Yeah. At the beginning of that interview, you felt like the expectation for you was that you should be up here at this
Hmm.
level of ability.
Hmm.
And what you really felt about yourself was that your ability in English at that point was somewhere down here.
Yeah.
This is really scary. It makes
Yeah.
you panic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you also feel that the person that you're going to be speaking to, which in this case you didn't know that person, you also thought that maybe their expectation was that your English skills were
100%.
up at this level.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually come out and say, well, they're not actually up there. And or at least I don't feel like they're up there. So, you lower the expectation yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you reduce the panic. Okay. And what you often find out, and there are different type of people out there. And, there are some companies where people, as soon as you say, oh, my level of, sorry, as soon as you say my level of English is not what you expect it to be, it's not up here.
Hmm.
There are some people who can't handle that. Okay.
Hmm.
Right. But actually, in a
Hmm.
lot of multinational companies, it's not that way.
Hmm.
It's not that way at all. And
Hmm.
and I don't want to sound sexist here, but often if it's a woman that you're dealing with, women seem to be more sympathetic about these things than some men are.
Hmm.
And once you lower the expectation, you might be surprised. It might actually make the other person feel a little bit more relaxed too. You
Yeah.
know, and you're taking the pressure off yourself. You've
Hmm.
lowered the expectation.
Hmm.
Okay. And even today, you still have sometimes you show up to work and maybe you haven't had your coffee yet, but you can't even remember how to say good morning in English, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll just get that out of your system at the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. It's like if you walk into the office and you open the door and the first thing you do is you trip and you almost fall. Well, you can just feel really embarrassed about that and feel like an idiot, or you can make a joke about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you can have a laugh with everyone together.
Hmm. Hmm.
Same sort of thing. But
Yeah.
okay, good. What I'd like to do here is we haven't had a chance for our panelists day today to ask any questions. So I'm going to ask them if they'd like to ask you some questions. But also, in case there's anybody who's watching the show right now who would like to submit a question on the chat, I'm also watching that. So yeah, you can write a question on the chat and I can ask it to Monse here. But Jose and Marta, do you have any questions that you would like to ask Monse at this point?
Okay, in my case, well, Monse, you are talking about some tips uh, that we can have uh, in account
Mm-hmm.
when we have a conversation. So,
Mm-hmm.
but what other tips could you give us to help us overcome the fear of
Hmm.
participating in conversations in English?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question, Martha. Till this day, like I said, right? Because people think, oh, she lives in the US now, so she's 100% ready. And that's not true, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But one thing that has helped me a lot, this probably you will laugh, and this might sound a little bit crazy, but I do practice a lot in my car while driving. So,
Mm.
for example, um, I use my time in the car, like when I'm doing my drive to work. I
Mm-hmm.
always try to listen to different podcasts and all
Mm-hmm.
of that, right?
Mhm.
So, especially at work, Martha, if I know that I have like a specific presentation, um, that is like, like I need to present in English, what I always do is that I talk out loud in the car while driving. So
Ah,
I'm like,
very good. Yeah.
so I practice. So I start like, okay, hi everyone. So today I'll be presenting this, blah 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 blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, okay, no, and the most important for me is to say it out loud so I can hear myself.
Ah, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Because if I do it in my mind, probably it will be faster. But and another thing, I stopped like how can I say it in a nice way? So I stopped like caring like how I pronounce like I
Mm.
pronunciate some words because I'm Costa
Pronounce. Mm.
Rican.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm
Pronounce,
Costa
actually.
Rican, right? And
Uh-huh.
there's certain words that I just don't pronounce like an
Good, good. You
English
got it right
speaker
that
will do it, right?
time. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So like but saying out loud is not it's not just because of the pronunciation, but also like to make me feel more confident on what I'm saying. And
Mhm.
I correct myself. I'll be like, okay, no, this didn't sound right. Let me start over. Let me
Mm.
start over.
Mm-hmm.
So like saying that out loud to myself, it helps me, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even like when I got like my interview, like
Mm-hmm.
my formal interview, I remember like in a mirror having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with myself. And that I do all
Mm-hmm.
the time. Like
That's good. That's good.
I'm
Yeah.
always talking to myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also other thing is I've found like mentors in my
Mm-hmm.
company, because as I've been moving to different places, the people that I work kind of became my family, right?
Mhm.
So what I've also been doing till this day is
Mhm.
like scheduling sometimes, because the way in Costa Rica or like Latin America culture, you say,
Mhm.
"Oh, let's go for a cafecito. Let's go, right? Like
A
let's
coffee. Mhm.
let's do a
A
coffee,
little
right?
coffee. Yep.
30 minutes, talk like chit chat, right? Not about work,
Mhm.
not about
Mhm.
anything like technical. Let's
Right.
go and chat about life, right? So
Right.
having
Right. Right. Right.
those conversations again
Mhm.
makes me feel like more comfortable that they're like there's this is another person just like me, has the
Right.
same
Right.
issues. So those couple of things like speaking out loud and practice,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then finding people that is also willing to help you.
Mhm.
And number
Right.
three, and that this will be the last one, I promise. Number three, I always tell my really close friends, like English
Mhm.
speaker friends, to
Mhm.
correct me.
Mhm.
I always tell them,
Right.
please, 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 if I'm saying something that is wrong,
Mhm. Mhm.
please correct me, because otherwise I'm not going to learn, right?
I, I, I just want to point out something here. You said pronunciate, which is wrong,
Okay.
and I corrected you and said it's pronounce, and then the second time you said it correctly. So I would assume that you heard me. But what really amazed me is that it didn't slow you down. It didn't stop you at all.
Mhm.
You just picked it up and you just went on as if nothing happened, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
because and thank you for
uh
doing that, John.
yeah,
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, because right, and that's something that I always appreciate. And one
yeah.
thing that
Uh-huh.
is hard for me is like his and hers, because I'm sometimes say that I'm talking about Jose. So I'll be like, yeah, and her mother. No, no, sorry,
Oh,
his
his and her.
mother.
Oh, okay, okay.
His and her. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
because they're the same word in Spanish, right?
sometimes I confuse, and especially right now with all the pronouns and stuff, to be really careful, right?
Mm,
2025, you need to be really careful. So I'm
Mhm.
always like, I'm sorry, I meant he or
oh,
she, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have that problem in Spanish.
Exactly, exactly,
Mhm, mhm. In fact, we have his, her, its, and their. All of them are su in Spanish,
exactly.
right? But yeah, so it's easy to get those mixed up. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Let me see. Jose Pablo, do you have anything you'd like to ask Monse at this moment?
Yeah. Well, I feel very well. I feel identified with Monse when she is talking about the way she felt in the interviews or one-on-one with
Mm-hmm.
her managers, because actually this the last week I have an interview one-on-one with some of the managers of our company, and well, I feel in the same way. I say I don't know if I am doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I know I am well. I am doing what I know, what I studied, but I don't know if I explain correctly what I need to say, because said a lot is not the same as said the correct. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I explain in this case, but yeah, that's what I thinking when I finished the one-on-one with the managers. But yeah, it's in this process where I am. I feel I don't. I talk with actually with John. I don't feel I am improving my English. I always say I feel I have the same level of English that I was finishing the high school. That's what I feel something, but yeah, I need to, how you said before, and the task, no, the ideas you present to Marta to improve. I,
Mm-hmm.
I I know I need to put more attention and
Mm-hmm.
more energy to improve. Yeah, that's the only way.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what also helped me, Jose?
Hmm.
Um, that while I'm in because at the beginning, when I started working, I didn't have too much interaction with people like speaking in English, right? It was just
Mhm.
Mhm.
us ticos speaking Spanish all the time.
Mhm.
Right.
But when I started attending meetings that were in English,
Mhm.
I was like literally, because you know the way if you're in meeting, sometimes your head is spinning and you're thinking about this and that, and you're not
Mhm. Mhm.
100% fully present in that meeting. That's
Yeah.
super easily to happen,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I was trying super hard at the beginning to be fully concentrated, right?
Mhm.
To understand, okay, how will people start meetings? Oh,
Mhm.
people will start meetings usually with this phrase. So I will put a
Mhm.
note in my notebook.
Yeah.
How will people close a meeting? Oh, they will
Mhm.
say like, oh, how will they ask for a follow-up?
Mhm.
And then even that listening and also in emails, because
Mhm.
that's another thing, right? Um, another joke that I had with an Irish friend is that like at least the Irish people that I know, they're like super like kind.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're beautiful people, right? And sometimes while I was like typing an email or something like that, I was being like super direct, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that wasn't my intention, sorry. But I
Mhm.
was like, hey, can you make it nicer? Right? Should I just add like, would you like, or instead of can you, this certain thing
Right.
that were
Right.
us at the beginning.
Mhm.
I don't know you, Jose, but me, I at the beginning I couldn't, like see the difference on saying like, can you do this instead of be able to do this, and could you, and
Mhm.
those kind of like just those words make completely difference in the tone that you're
Yeah.
asking.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But at the beginning you only know can you do
Right.
this,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and that sounds like okay, yeah. So I would just pay a
Uh,
lot of attention on how people talk, how people write emails. And
right.
also,
Mhm.
Jose, I would really encourage you, if you have like teams or people that works in other part of the world, like to
Uh-huh.
find yourself like a friend
Uh-huh.
and schedule
Oh,
like monthly 30 minutes one-on-one. Say like, hey, and like I said, right? Like being like humble enough, don't be embarrassed.
yeah.
They won't judge you.
Let's just stop on that word humble because I'm not sure if everybody understands it. And humble, well, in Spanish it is humilde, and the opposite of humble is arrogant, right? So it means you don't have a great, big, huge opinion of yourself. You're actually you can admit that you're not that great sometimes, right? That's what it
Yeah,
means.
that's what I
Mhm.
thank you, John. Yeah, like saying like yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing. And like I said, right? Like don't be hard on yourself. Just like
Mhm, mhm,
something as direct. No need
mhm,
to
mhm,
add too much detail. Like, look, I have no idea how to speak English. I
mhm.
would love to improve my English. Can you please
Yeah.
have 30 minutes of your time and let's just talk about life? Or let's
Mhm.
just talk about
Huh. Mhm,
engineering, or let's just talk about whatever, right? Because, like I said, you never know,
mhm,
that person will help in your career or
mhm,
in any other opportunity or in your English, or
mhm,
just right. Because as long as you keep doing that and start to kind of talk to these people
mhm,
and with the pressure of like a meeting, right? Because if you're in a
mhm.
meeting, you're in high pressure, and
Right, right.
especially in manufacturing, in medical devices manufacturing, because everything is urgent.
Yeah.
Patients, and like that's always high, super high pressure.
Mhm,
So it's better like to schedule a call and say, without any pressure, without looking any specific outcome. You're not trying
mhm,
to
mhm.
solve any problem. You just want to say a couple words in English,
Right, right.
or like maybe like, oh, tell me about yourself. Well,
Mhm,
I live here, blah blah blah. And then if you don't understand one word, ask that person. Sorry,
mhm,
I couldn't understand what you said. Can you please say it but
mhm,
slower?
mhm, mhm,
You said this word, but I don't understand what is the meaning of this word. Can you please
mhm,
explain?
mhm,
Oh, because like I said, Jose, So I talk to my manager every single day. And
Mm.
there's sometimes words that I'm like, what is she talking about? Right? I'm like, I don't get it.
If you
I'm like,
don't know,
I'm so
ask.
no. And then I'm like, what is that? Oh yeah, because like there's a lot of words even in
Well,
Spanish.
okay, just a second here. If you say, "What is that?" That's very, very direct, right? And if
Yeah,
if somebody's really a good friend, then you could say that. But it would be much better, of course, to say, "I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know what that word means." Right?
correct. Yeah,
But
yeah,
here's the
absolutely.
thing. Here's the thing: is when you're learning English, at first you only know how to say things directly,
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
the word we use in English is bluntly, which
Uh-huh.
means the same thing as directly. Okay.
Hmm.
But then as you learn English more and more, you get to a higher level, you learn
Uh-huh.
to speak in a way that's not so direct. And you
Yeah,
have to do that. You know, if you work in a company, you can't speak bluntly or directly in Spanish at work,
yeah.
right? Because you know that people are going to take some things the wrong way. But that is what we call subtleties of communication, and those are much more sophisticated, and you learn them as you go. But I really like your idea. You say you make sure that you establish a friendship with some of the people
Hmm.
that you work
Yeah.
closely with,
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
and
like
I
that's
connecting
something.
in
really
a human way, like
Mhm.
connecting in a human
exactly,
way.
exactly.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And the thing is yeah, there are sometimes you're in an emergency call about something, right? Well, the communication has to be accurate. The pressure is really on in that
Yeah.
situation, right?
Mhm.
But it's so much better if you've established that if your friend is there in the call, and once you've established a friendship with someone, that person knows something about you and they're willing to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, something happening to me very commonly, and is when I listen well, people who only speak English, they have
Mhm.
a, words that they only understand. If you try to translate, you don't have what is the meaning. That
Yeah.
in For example,
Google Translate doesn't help you.
no, doesn't help you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
And the unique way to know is speaking with someone who's her his or her first language is English. So that's
Mhm.
very commonly for me. Don't understand something and say what. And I don't have a friend, or in my work I don't have a friend who this kind of friends you are saying, because well, my managers are very focus in his work, and they
Right.
always
Right.
we take a meeting, we talk what we need to say, we speak, we
Mhm. Mhm.
look how we are doing, and then we finish it.
Mhm.
And well, I see them the next week or the next month, so it's difficult for me,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's very commonly. Actually,
Mhm.
I understand, because if you speak Spanish with other people
Mhm.
from for example, Spain, you don't
Hmm.
understand a lot of words,
Yeah.
and they don't understand us
Yeah.
a lot of words. Here in Costa Rica is the Costa Ricanismos, I think, is the word
The
we.
slangs. Hmm.
Uh-huh. The
Mhm.
English
Mhm.
is dissonant.
Mhm.
I would say, right, the slangs is the right word. Like, no
Slang.
Costa
Yeah.
Ricanismo como, how would you say slang in Spanish? Like, como nosotros
Um,
decimos,
well,
dichos, ticos.
Uh-huh.
not
And
really
me,
dichos, but I mean, in Costa Rica, the slang has a name, and sorry, it just skipped my mind.
Like idioms.
No, 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 no. Sorry, I know what it is, and I can't think of it right now. It's like it's the language that the guys speak. It's when they say "my"
See,
and
slang son exactly like, for example, stuff that is not actually like a word in Spanish.
yeah, but pachuco,
Not
pachuco.
like do sí, exacto,
Yeah,
como
sorry, I couldn't think of it.
como
Yeah,
pachuco. Yeah, like ya
right, right.
use mae. Que mae?
Mhm.
okay,
That's a
Yeah,
slang. So
uh-huh.
if for English they will have mae, but in another word that you won't understand, right,
yeah,
Jose? Like,
yeah,
Buddy
that's
Mhm.
true.
but
or bud.
and Jose, let me interrupt you really quick. um, I completely get what you're saying. The manager that I have today, I'm super blessed. The one that I have today, because I consider her more than my manager. But
Mm-hmm.
like the majority of people that I have worked, I've seen people that is not patient with me while
Mhm.
speaking is English. I've seen people that is patient. I've seen people that they're willing to sit down with me, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't want to for you to think, oh, Mons is really lucky because she has like beautiful people around her. There's
Mhm.
always a mix of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and especially that we need to understand that we go to work, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't go to work to, oh, let's make friends. No, no, no. And especially in like our industry that is medical device
Mhm.
manufacturing, it's like this, right? Work, work, work. I don't care. Like
Mhm.
that's
Mm, that's
but take some time to identify those key people, because probably it's not going to be your direct manager or direct core team member. Probably
Mhm.
you just see a person that was in a meeting and you can send them a message like, hey, hey, how are you? Like, because you need to be willing to make yourself uncomfortable also to ask for that people to help you, to say, no, I don't want to do that, or yes, I will help you, right? It's not easy to find,
Mhm.
people that is willing to, because like we're saying, people go to work,
Mhm.
right? They're not like our English teachers.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But just be patient with
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
Try to don't be too hard on yourself, and you'll eventually find, because that
Mhm.
took time, right? Like I said, I've been doing this for 10
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
years, but I wouldn't say that this
Mm-hmm.
was
Mhm.
like this day one. Mm-mm. Like it took me
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
Mhm.
no's. I don't care. I don't want to help you,
Mhm.
to figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. Those people that I call them my
Mhm.
angels, right? Because I wouldn't
Mhm.
know what, especially when you find that
Mm-hmm.
connection and you're
Mhm.
in a meeting, that person that already knows you will back you up, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
sometimes I'm in a meeting like with a question mark face, like, what are they talking about? And that person realized that I wasn't understanding, and that person has said, hey, one second, Monse, are you getting it? I'm like, "Mm-mm." Because probably I was afraid
Yeah.
to say it out
Mhm.
loud that
Mhm.
I wasn't understanding. But that friend, and when I say friend, it's like not like an actual friend, like how we call in Costa Rica, I mean, compita, right? It's
Mhm.
just like a person that understands that I'm struggling with English
Mhm. Mhm.
and that is willing to help, right?
Right.
And there's good people everywhere,
Mhm.
and there's also people that is just focused about work, and that's okay too, right? We don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that to you.
I got
Yeah.
it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will try to find this person in my
Try your
company.
best.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Try your
yeah.
best every day.
I just want to say very, very briefly. I used to work here in Costa Rica for this company right here,
Mhm.
and I was actually involved in IT. And at one point, I was part of a team called the Global Command Center, and we were supporting a very large pharmaceutical company, and we would handle their IT emergencies, so their information technology and communication emergencies. And we were a team, we had members in Canada, the United States, Costa Rica, Ireland, India, and Singapore.
Nice.
And um, it was kind of a strange job because there was a lot of times where there was no emergency and we really didn't have anything to do. Yes, we had some training sometimes to do and some things like that. But we did have sometimes free time, and then there would be other days that we would have like an emergency that would take 12 hours to resolve. So yeah, uh, you didn't know what was going to happen at work. Anyhow, sometimes everything would be working fine, and
Mhm.
what did we do? We did something that at first it didn't quite seem right. but we would often be on a call together, and we would just chit chat. Meaning that we would just talk to each other about anything.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, and at first, I was thinking to myself, "What's going on here? Why are we doing this? It doesn't somehow seem professional." But what I realized over time is that it was group bonding.
Mhm.
We were getting to know each other. We were all in different countries,
Mhm.
so we had no way to become friends with each other.
Mhm.
And that was the thing. We would just talk about anything.
Mhm.
And it was a way for us to connect and feel as a team. But also I realized it made it possible for us to get to know each other. Because sometimes in the emergency calls, there would be a problem. And it might be a problem that one particular person was having. Maybe they had to get in contact with somebody that they couldn't get in contact with. Um, Maybe there was information that they couldn't find, or maybe there was a communication problem. Actually, if you think about this, we were dealing with global problems. So we would get called if there was a problem in China, or a problem in Brazil, or a problem in Europe somewhere. So we always had a combination of local people and global people working
Mhm.
on calls at the same time. I can remember one call I had to do where there was an emergency in Brazil, and production facilities were without power. And when they came back on, the systems didn't work properly. And something had failed and didn't correct itself when the systems came up again. Um, so what we had to do is we had to have a conversation. There was one guy in particular who was the local expert on the specific problem, and he only spoke in Portuguese. And a few other people in the call spoke Portuguese. And what we were actually doing at one point is we had people who could translate from Portuguese to Spanish, and then we had people who could translate from Spanish to English. And we had this chain going on involving
Yeah.
three languages. And, the thing is if someone there doesn't communicate something effectively, then suddenly there's a problem. But and it was very easy to get mad at somebody for misunderstanding something, right? But it's harder to get mad at somebody when they're your friend, you know?
Mhm.
And and so I began to realize the whole reason why we would just get together and talk wasn't because we were wasting time. It was because we were developing friendships with each other.
Mhm.
And then we could help each other out
Mhm.
when because sometimes you'd get into a problem and it's an emergency, and you have to do something that's beyond your abilities, and you fail at it. And at some point, you'd have these very serious emergencies. There would be someone who would, no one was perfect. Everybody would fail at something at some point. Okay. And you can get mad at each other. But if you know your bosses, and a lot of them were the bosses, right? I think it was really, really important to be friends with the bosses, right?
Mhm.
And they knew us, we knew them. Okay. And
Mhm.
yeah, so they were a little bit more sympathetic to us. Not only did they, sometimes we made mistakes, sometimes we caused problems, but they also learned what our strengths were too. That's the thing, is if you know a person, you know what their strengths are. Um, if you see somebody with a problem, right? You think, oh, if you don't know that person, you just think, well, he failed at something. That's bad. Okay, right? But if you know somebody well enough, you know what their strengths are, and if you know that they have strengths and that they're not perfect in certain other areas, then you don't feel so bad about them when they fail at something. So yeah, okay. Marta, you haven't had a chance to say anything here for a while. Are there any questions or comments that you want to add?
No, it's very interesting, all the tips and the experience of Monse that she have had, and um, I take some notes
Mm-hmm.
to improve in my experience,
Oh.
because it's true. And sometimes, as she mentioned, we only have time to have a meeting and to talk about the work. And
Mm-hmm.
it's I don't know, mm, there is a fear of making mistakes when
Yeah.
speaking with other person, and it takes time, and I don't know, to to have that opportunity to talk with other people and to have a chance to establish a conversation, other types
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
conversation that is important.
Mm-hmm.
And there is always people that wants to help you. So it's really interesting, and I feel grateful with you, Monse. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for your experience.
Thank
And
you for sharing your knowledge.
Of
exactly,
course.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And maybe as a way to wrap things up here, I'd like to emphasize, in business, what is the most important thing? The most important thing is effective communication. And sometimes, English grammar is difficult. Um, and it's difficult to figure out the grammar as you're speaking. But there's a lot of times, not all the time, but there's a lot of times that you can say something with the wrong grammar. You can actually make a grammatical mistake, but people still are able to understand you. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there are some times when the grammar mistake causes a misunderstanding. Yeah, okay. But most of the time, most grammar mistakes do not prevent other people from others understanding you. And in a global context, you're working with people from all over the world. Um, the majority of people do not have English as their first language. So they actually make mistakes too.
Mhm.
Okay. But they still communicate. And that's what's most important. Your business co-workers are not grammar teachers. They don't care if you forget to use the word the or a, or if there's no s on the end of the verb in the third person singular. That's not a major issue. Okay. So you can still effectively communicate most of the time, not 100% of the time, but most of the time. And that's like 80 or 90% of the time. Okay. Even if your grammar is not perfect. And in business, other people don't care if your grammar is perfect. They don't. They only care about it when it causes a miscommunication. And that can sometimes happen. When it happens, you have to deal with it. You have to recognize what happened, and then maybe you have to apologize for your English, and you have to go back and find out what went wrong. What was it that you miscommunicated? Right. Okay. Sometimes that's going to happen, right? But then you're not the only one.
Mhm.
You're not the only one. If you're working with people from India, English is not their first language. If you're working from people from Brazil, English is not their first language. If you're working with people from I don't know, Israel. We didn't get to say anything about Israel today, Monse.
Next
But yeah,
time.
uh-huh. But for a lot of them, English is not their first language.
Yeah.
They're not perfect when they communicate, but they still do it. They
Mhm.
still communicate in English, and most of the time it works. Okay, good. We went over time here. We went over more than an hour. So I think it's good to bring things to an end here. But thank you very much, Monse. This was really, really interesting today. And I think it was really helpful for a lot of people. And it's great to hear about your experiences, what you did. I can talk about doing these things in class, but it's so much better when we hear from somebody who's actually gone through these experiences, and they can tell us what they actually did to lose their fear of English, and as you say, establish friends who can help you out at work. And once you have people who help you, it helps make your English better. So let's stop there. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your time. And that's it for today.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Best
you.
of
Thank
luck.
you.
Keep doing
Yep.
what you're doing.
Bye.
Okay, then.
Have a good
Bye
day.
bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye, everybody.